Well, hello there. As I press start stream, it just dropped down to 0 KB, KBS, Cubas, and I don't know. I think we're going to be good. Looks like we're going to be good. It's up again. 6,000 Cubas. Sometimes we have trouble with the Cubas at the weekend. Might have been the Doge wallet. Sometimes I have my Doge wallet open. I've got a Doge wallet. Let's just do this. Let's just do your intro. Let's get your intro done. Let me check that sounds alright on this. I missed it. Seems alright. Always seems alright. It's just in the edit. It changes. But I've been messing with the settings a little bit. I've moved the delay on the mic a little bit, so it might be better or worse. Who can tell? Nobody until I get in the edit. What did I just say? What did I even just say? Just said something, didn't I? Forgot what it was. Oh, yeah, my Doge wallet. So, we're going to do Giant Jesus. We're going to do, I'll show you what we're doing. Web browsing here, look, web browsing. We're in the monumental statues of Jesus. We are halfway through a shortlist. Christ the Redeemer. Where's the edge? Where's the edge with the picture? There it is. Christ the Redeemer. These giant Jesuses all over the world. And we're looking at them, grading them. We're making a short list because we're going to end up making a tier list. So first we're going through how many of them are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, about 20 something. We've got up to about here. So we're going to be going through these, shortlisting them, finding out which are the potentially top 10 giant G's-eye, and then once we've decided on our top 10, I'm going to rip all the pictures, put them in a tier list maker, do a little bit of research. So because at the moment we're just choosing based on looks, just purely based on looks, purely aesthetics. You can't judge a book by its cover, can you? You can't judge many things by their looks, but these giant statues, that's what we're doing. And then once we've shortlisted them based on how they look, which is the biggest, which is the most impressive, so to speak, maybe one from each continent, we're going to shortlist them. And then when we do the, tier list maker, when we do the tier list, I will get a bit more detail and we'll learn some history about them as well and some art facts. We might learn a few art facts on the way, just little art facts from Big Jesus. Let's go big face. So that's what we're doing today. I just thought I'd have a little mention. Thought I'd do a little mention. Let's pop you. Where are you? Popped. You got popped. Pop. Yeah, I thought I'd do a little honourable mention to Dogecoin. So I'm not a millionaire. Far from it. But some months ago, a couple of years ago, there was a big Bitcoin boom, wasn't there? Everyone was talking about the old Bitcoin. It was years ago now. It was 2018, 17, something like that. Maybe more years than 2. And one of my friends was into it, hyping it all the time. And it's one of those things where my friend was talking about it, so I had a little dabble. And I got convinced by the hype, got dragged in. And of course, I was at the wrong end of that tail. I didn't make a lot of money on Bitcoin, and I was one of the people that were putting money in so others could take their money out and make money, sort of thing. I was at the wrong end of the pump and dump. I was at the dumpy end than the pumpy end. So I didn't make any money on Bitcoin. Great. And I took it back out and just, had the money instead because I didn't want to leave it in the internet. But I also had some real misfortune. I was trading on, let me see if I can get this up actually on the old internet. It was called Ray Blocks. And the website was BitGrail. And let me just go web browsing. So I did a little bit of research and I found this other crypto called Ray blocks. They're now called Nano. And they seemed quite interesting because they had like interesting technology attached to them. And I thought there's an opportunity to maybe get in at the ground floor, unlike Bitcoin, buy a few Bitcoins of some kind, and maybe, they'd go up and I'd make some money. So I bought a few of these on this special website called BitGrail that allowed you to trade in them. I don't have a lot of money, so it wasn't a lot of money. It was about £200 to £300 maximum I used to dabble in crypto, so about £200. But I lost it all when I was on this Rayblocks website. My money was in there trading Rayblocks to Bitcoins and things, and the people that run the website just made off with all the money. So I lost all of my money. And I thought, this is terrible. This is really bad. I've lost all my money. The website's, a theft website, essentially. It wasn't, I don't know, I'm not big into the crypto. So that was years ago. But what I did is at the end of it all, I said, look, I've still got a little bit of stuff in the internet money, on the old trading website. Why don't I just get Dogecoins? Because they're fun, aren't they? They're fun. They're worth basically nothing. They were at the time. And so what I did is I got 10,000 Dogecoins. I got all of the monies together that I could, 10,000 Dogecoins. At the moment, that was worth, at the time, it was worth about £60 or £70 or $50, something like that. It wasn't a lot because all of my other monies were stolen on the internet. Big face me. Yeah, so I've got a Doge wallet. It's got 10,000 Doge in it. I'll tell you that. That's the honest damn truth. I can't show it you because it might show you my address and then you might be able to steal them all. But I thought we might give them out on stream to people. I'm starting to think that might not be such a good idea because there might be laws attached to giving away money to people for following you on streams. Maybe not. And anyway, you're supposed to be giving me... We're supposed to be making this thing sustainable. That's what we're supposed to be doing as a crew. So what I was thinking of doing with these Dogecoins was they've gone up recently. Let's show you that on the old web browser. There's a payoff, a punchline to this story, so stick with it. Stick with it. There's a comedy ending. So let's go web browsing there. Look, the Dogecoin. Oh, it's gone up. Whoa, on the moon. 48 billion market. I don't know what that means. Fundamentally, though, the Dogecoin has gone up since I bought it. Oh, it's going down again. Oh no. No, it will do. It will do. It'll go up and down. What's happened over the last little bit of crypto chat here? 12 hours. One should have a day. Day's not long enough to show you. Let's go a week. What's happened over the last months or so is Dogecoin. When I bought it, it was down here at 0.001 or whatever. So it's gone up. That's good. It went up to here. That was a big up. And I was like, wow, now I've actually got some money in that wallet. And what's fantastic about it is it saved me. All that money that was stolen from me, I've now made back. So I've broken even at this point. And then it's gone up and up and up. Oh, wow, look, it went up here. Oh, it went up to 4 point. That was the big top. Lots of people started selling then, and that's why it started going down again. But it won't ever really plummet back down to these low figures, I doubt, I hope. But it could go up again. There's a chance for another boost. But you say to me, Scotty, why didn't you sell it when it was up high? Why didn't you make back? Because at that point, I would have made a few thousand. And that would have been like a big profit on what that would have been 10 times what I lost. So that would have been amazing. The reason is... blockchain technology, which I don't understand. The wallet, when you open it, has to complete some sort of processing task, blockchaining. And because I haven't opened it for 4 years, when I open the wallet, it's like, oh, I'm processing, but you know what? It's going to take a while. And I can't do any transacting while it's doing that. And I've had the wallet open about 3 or 4 times over the last week or so. And it ain't finishing the blockchain. It's got 2 million blockchains to work through. And it doesn't seem to be able to work through them very quickly. So whilst I do own the Bitcoin, the Dogecoin, whilst I do own it, it's locked in the internet. And I can't, if it goes up, I can't go, oh, sell, buy. I can't do a Wolf of Wall Street on it and sell it. I just have to open the wallet and sit and watch the wallet while it doesn't finally process the blockchain and I can't use it. So I've got that, but I can't get it out. So my strategy for that is just to leave it in there long term. And if it gets big enough, if we go back to that web browser, at the moment it's going down again, so that's bad, isn't it? It's going down again. But if it gets big enough, if it keeps going up, you know, in the long run, I can't put my hand over there because you can't see it, but in the long run, this could keep sort of going up, couldn't it? Gradually. It doesn't have to go one big wallop, it can gradually go up. If it does, and eventually it gets to a certain quantity, I'm sure that there'll be a sort of break point where the value of what's in the wallet is valuable enough that I can take the computer to someone professional and say, hello, I've got Dogecoin in this wallet, here is the computer. The Dogecoin's worth quite a lot of money. If we can get it out, you can have some of it, and then, you know, I can have some of it as well, please, thanks. I could, you know, pay someone to do the technical thing that I don't understand. And yeah, so, but that will only ever happen if it gets big enough. So at the moment, it's fantasy money, it's fake money. I don't really have it. It's in the internet, and I can't get it out. And it makes me feel nice that I've made that profit. I haven't lost money when it got stolen from me now. I've made it back. But I could be losing it as we speak, as it goes down, and I can't get it out. So there's your comedy payoff. Even if I become a millionaire, I can't access the millions. But if Dogecoin goes to the moon and my coins get valuable, then I can help. Maybe someone can help us access them, and then we can share them out. And if we were lucky enough on this Scotty Hottie podcast stream, I didn't do the introduction, did I? Didn't do the introduction. Hi, you're with Scott. This is Ganji Kid, my stream. It's midnight. It's always midnight. This is your right ear and your left ear. It's mono. Yeah, if it does get big and valuable, and if we do get to become Dogecoin millionaires, then I will remember you, and I will share with you, and I'll buy you a nice present. How about that? I'll buy all the Ganji Puka Warriors nice presents. So let's hope we do get to become millionaires. It will be interesting, but we probably won't, and it will probably just stay in there forever. Hooray! So that was an interesting story to get us started. Let's get on with Giant Jesus, because people are here to see Giant Jesus. They're not here to talk about Dogecoin. Where do we get up to? I'll tell you what's in our shortlist. I've got it on a notepad. You're not ever going to get to see the notepad because it's another window that I can't, you know, it's beyond, starting to get beyond me with the window juggling and having 3 or 4 of them open. Oh, I hope I haven't lost it. Oh no. Oh no, there it is. Okay. Rio Jesus is our number 1 at the moment. Rio Jesus. Christ the Redeemer of Rio. And it's obvious why this one's number 1 on the list. Not number 1 in terms of how good it is, just the first one we put on the shortlist. Because it's the main one, isn't it? When you say Giant Jesus, if you talk Giant Jesus to people, hang on, you just need to shuffle up. Can you just shuffle up for me? Just shuffle up a little bit. Oh no, that's not right. I'm making you smaller. I didn't ask you to shrink. I asked you to just shuffle. Let's just shuffle you there. Just shuffle you up. Shuffle up your boomer. There you go. There you are. Shuffle your boom. I'll move my boom in. I'm going to just shuffle our booms. There we go. Right. The Giant Jesus, Christ the Redeemer. That's the big one. That's the main one. And that's the one that we're sort of judging the others against. Sort of. I say sort of. I wonder if I can make this any bigger for you. Have I got a browser with no face? No, just that. Big face. It's big face. Web browsing. Okay, look, it's big enough, isn't it? You can see it. We also wanted to show you the Angel of the North. Oh, I turned me off. Hang on. I wanted to turn the... So me back on, and let's go for the big face. Oh, let's not bother showing you the Angel of the North. It's in the last episode. Let's just carry on. The Angel of the North is a British iron sculpture by Anthony Gormley, and that's what I'm judging this against. But everything's better than the Angel of the North when it's terms of Giant Jesus. So anyway, this is a good benchmark for us. It's 30 metres tall, and it's got a big plinth, but we're not judging plinths. His arms are out. He's in generally proportion. Big old Jesus looking down. And if you stood there down the bottom, he's actually looking down at you. I didn't notice that bit before. He's looking straight down at you if you stood there at the bottom. So that's giant Jesus number 1. Giant Jesus number 1. What's behind door number 1? Christ the Redeemer. Christ the Redeemer. And then our next giant Jesus is the Jesus blesses or Christ blessing in Indonesia. So it's this one. And the reason we like this one so much is because this is giant flying Jesus. This is Power Ranger Jesus. Did the Power Rangers fly? I've forgotten. That's Power. Look at him. Coming at you like a crow or a sparrowhawk. Giant flighted Jesus there. That's giant flighted Jesus. That's in Indonesia. We love that one because of the giant hands, the wingspan, the fact his feet have left the ground. We love that one. And the next one that we really love, and I'd say love. I mean, it's okay to use love when you're talking about Jesus, isn't it? It's okay to... Oh God, this is such a big window now. Scotty Hottie window sizing. Hang on, if I just press Control F, there you go. The next one that we love, and we do love it, it's okay to love Jesus, is under the sea, down where it's wetter, that's where it's better, take it from me. Don't sing that because you'll get done for copyright. That's Christ. Christ, I'm in the sea. That's not what it's called. It's called Christ, I'm drowning. No, it's called Christ... Christ of the Abyss. Christ of the Abyss. And they put this one in the sea. We'll learn more about it when we come to the top 10. I think there's more than one. I think it might have been a statue from antiquity that they've put the arms back on, put it back in the sea. It's in the sea. It's in the sea. And they did it in the sea because I think it came out of the sea, but also the first Italian to wear scuba gear died in the sea. So the scuba gear can't have been that good. And they put it where the Italian died. So that's Christ of the Abyss. Christ of the Abyss. But what a cool concept. Walloped into the sea, in the sea. And I wonder if his little hands come poking out when the tide's low. So that's Christ of the Abyss. That's our 3. We've got 3 so far. So we're looking for another 7 out of this list. And we've got, so we can have 7 of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. About 26. 7 to 26. So I think we'll be about right if we pick out our... So every 2 or 3 Jesuses, every third Jesus, we want to whack in the shortlist. So let's see where we get up to next. And these are not, other than my own worldly knowledge, these Jesuses are not, sorry, excuse me, I'm going to turn off my face a little bit while I just have a little go on a cigarette. Smoking is really bad, and whilst I'm allowed to do it on stream, I don't want to make a bad example of myself by doing it publicly. So let's just turn me off for a second. But lo and behold, I can't help but, there's part of me that even if I'm trying to hide something, I just said it out loud, didn't know what I was doing, so what an idiot I am. It seems like this honest part of me won't let me hide something from you. He just blurted it out like an idiot. So now you know what I've been doing. I'm back. Right. And yeah, so these, unless I have knowledge of it in my mind, like this one, I actually have knowledge of this in my mind. I already knew there was a big Jesus in Poland and that Jesus was big in Poland. So unless I have some sort of prior knowledge, these are all new to me. I haven't researched any of them. We're just going in cold. So this is Christ, and sometimes you might have the words cut off, but don't worry, I'll read the important bits, or some of them. Christ the King, it's in... I should be able to pronounce this, because I've got some Polish friends, been to Poland a few times. So that's Świebodzin. And it's Western Poland, it's modern, it's 2010, that's a 2010 Jesus. It's 33 metres tall, so it's taller than the one in Rio. So they're newer, taller, So we're going for a bit of a Jesus off here. A bit of a Jesus off. Who's got the biggest? Hey, who's got the biggest? Hey, who's got the biggest? Jesus. Going for a bit of a Jesus off. It's 33 meters tall, so it's taller. It's on a mound as well. Look, they haven't gone plinth. They've gone mound. They've gone mound. A very strange, rough-looking mound. The mound pushes it up to 57 meters. So. Took 5 years to build. It's $1.5 million worth of Jesus. $1.5 million. The project was conceived by a retired Polish priest, and it's the second tallest Jesus. The second tallest. So it's not even the tallest. But what I wanted to say, 1.5 million. It's got a metal crown on. Is that metal? It's like one of those Burger King hats. Look, 1.5 million. So far be it from me to decide how the people of Poland, the religious groups, this priest, the church, whoever, far be it from me to decide how they spend their money. But I think 1.5 million could feed a lot of people. But instead they've gone for giant chalky Jesus. He looks like he's made out of some sort of chalky limestone, but he can't possibly be, because that would what's the word? It'd break down over time with the elements, wouldn't it? Wonder what he's made from, this Jesus. See, now the other night I was a bit tired and I wasn't that interested in the facts. I was just interested in the images, but now I'm interested in the facts again. Let's have a look. It's made from donations, so the residents of the town paid for it. If you lived in a town and together you put together your money and it came to over $1 million and you used it to buy a Jesus, I'm assuming that town's got a lovely sports centre, lovely facilities for the people of lower fortune. They must have loads of good stuff if they can afford a giant Jesus like that. Concrete and fiberglass. Fiberglass is involved again. Fiberglass. And there's an article there, Jesus rises from cabbage field, so it's been put in a cabbage field. Produced by sculptors Miroslav Kazimierz Petecki. And technical aspects produced by somebody else. So interesting that somebody would design a statue and then somebody else would have to say, all right, well, how the hell are we going to do it? They probably wouldn't use hell, would they? They probably wouldn't say hell. Let's have a look at him again. So is this going on our top shortlist? I think it has to. It's the second highest. It's the second tallest. At the moment, it's in. Depending on what else we discover. If we discover anything better, it might be edged off the bottom. It's nice to get edged off the bottom, isn't it? But at the moment, yeah, it can go in, I think. Because it's big enough, impressive enough, isn't it? Impressive enough. And he's got that gold crown like the others don't have. And he's looking magisterial as well. So far we've seen some with some funny faces, but this face is quite magisterial. Maybe it's the addition of the crown. Strong looking Jesus. Fiberglass though. Fiberglass is a negative. Let's pop this one in then. Copy. And let's just pop that in there. That's in. And Jesus is now in. Pops that in there. So we've got, how many you got now? 1, 2, 3, 4. Four of them. Next, Christ the Redeemer of the Andes. Christ the Redeemer. There's quite a lot of these Christ the Redeemer, aren't there? Christ the Redeemer. Did I change this to just chatting? Did I? I'll just check that, because we are just chatting, aren't we? Yeah, just chatting. Good. Didn't want to accidentally be broadcasting this in the wrong category, did we? Christ the Redeemer of the Andes. You want to see this? Boom! Look at that. Maybe I should get another window open for me to read whilst you're looking at the pictures. No. Maybe I shouldn't, because it just confused things. This is Christ the Redeemer of the Andes. So we'll have a little look at him, and then we'll jump back and I'll read about him. This two things that strikingly stand out to me here. They've gone for the cross. The others haven't used the cross. This is the first one we've seen with the cross, the crucifix. But it seems to me that crucifix might be there for stability. Although the Jesus figure itself looks pretty stable. It looks like we're going for some sort of bronze alloy. I don't think it is pure bronze, is it? I think it might be steel. Can you get dark steel like that? I think you can. The welding on the cross, those obvious welds, make me think this was made of steel. And the figure, whilst there's a lot of movement in the clothes, a much more detailed and interesting sartorial clothing choice for Jesus here. More sacky, more covered up, not just the one light linen dress. Much more almost leathery look to the clothing. I don't think Jesus would have worn leather, but leathery look to the clothing. And looks like he'd be able to survive in the wilderness a little better, this Jesus. Softer features, not such big, strong, big head, softer features. Gone for the beard still going with the beard. It looks like his eyes might be a bit closed. Centre parting as well. This is a common theme now. Jesus has got a centre parting. We've got the hand going. And it looks, I was going to say about this clothing, this movement in the clothing, this rough structure, what that does as well, it helps to mask where this Jesus has clearly been built in segmented parts and welded together. The weld lines hidden by some of the clothing. He stood on the world. He stood on the world, on a depiction of the globe, half hemisphere there, and a plinth. I quite like this one though. There's something about this that I quite like. There's a more human quality to him. He looks less. In some of the others, they've been so giant and so out of proportion in a way, and that lower half of the body's been just one massive block of plinth. So that, let me make my face bigger. Let's have a bit more me. There you are. You can see the catty. Look, you can see the catty better. Two catties. Yeah, this one looks a bit more human, a bit more real. So there's something I quite like about this, and I like the way that in the bright sunlight, wherever this statue has been placed. Let's find that out now. Christ the Redeemer of the Andes, Spanish, Cristo Redentor de los Andes, is a monument high in the principal cordillera of the Andes, of course, which means it's in Argentina and Chile. It's on the border between Argentina and Chile. It was unveiled on the 13th of March 1904, so this is quite an old Jesus. And it's a celebration of a peaceful resolution of a border dispute, so that's good, that's nice. A symbol of eternal peace. And it's near a road tunnel. What we want to know, though, is what it's made out of and how tall it is. I mean, it's very high up, 3,000 metres above sea level, but the 7 metre high bronze, the 7 metre high, so it's 7 metres, it's not the tallest Jesus, bronze statue, it is bronze, was subsequently made by Buenos Aires sculptor Mateo Alonso and shown for a while in the patio of La Cordillera School of the Dominican Order in Buenos Aires. So it was made in an art school, made by an artist, commissioned by a bishop, and it sat in Buenos Aires for a while. And look, there's a picture here showing the relative size of it. That's a cool picture. I can't click it there because it's over here in the actual window. There it is. So it's big Jesus, but not, not like vast Jesus. And you get more of the plinth in this. The plinth elevates it, doesn't it? So it was carried up by mules up the mountain in pieces, and then they put them back together. So there you go. Now we found out the facts. 10 points for being bronze. I mean, that's quite expensive, that is. I can melt that down. I'm joking, but in our country, we have problems. Lots of traditional roofing. Let me do a bit of big face and I'll tell you about roofing. Where's my big face? You'll love this. So my dad was a roofer and I've done some roofing. And in our country, because some of the houses are so old, you have a thing called listing, which means that it's listed, means you can't change it beyond what it originally was to keep the character, so that old buildings stay as they were, renovated faithfully to that old tradition, keep the character, keep it historical sort of thing. So some buildings are listed. Quite a lot of the listed buildings have lead work on the roofs. Nowadays you'd probably use a different material because lead's really heavy and really expensive. But often church roofs are covered in sheets and sheets of lead, and it's heavy and expensive. But what happens is bad people, scrap merchanty sort of bad people will climb up on the top of the roof, and it's quite easy to cut through lead. It's a soft metal. They'll cut through these sheets, roll them up and chuff them off the roof, and then they'll land down below, oof, and then someone will chuff them on a van. They'll take them and melt them down. Scrap metal, a sheet of lead, a piece of lead about this sort of size, about that. That's probably going to be quite heavy for you to hold. It's probably going to be the weight of a full dinner plate, full of your dinner. That's worth about 50p. About three of them for $1 maybe. So you can get a few dollars out of this stripping lead from things, but it's illegal, of course, and it leaves the roofs detrimentally damaged, and then the water gets in, it's bad. They have to repair them, and they have to have them done with lead again, don't they? Because it's grade 2 listed or whatever. So huge jobs, lots of lead, difficulties. My point is that melting down lead is valuable enough to make it, worth doing. People will spend an evening stripping lead off a roof to melt it down. So that's true. So is bronze. Bronze is also valuable. And big statues, coming back to Big Jesus, let's go web browser. Big statues like Big Jesus, that is worth its weight in bronze, I tell you. But I imagine they don't have so many problems with scrap merchants up the Andes, do they? I imagine you can leave your giant bronze statue of Jesus up on a plinth out in the middle of nowhere and not worry if someone's going to come and take it to bits to melt it down. The nearest scrapyard's probably quite a distance, and it'd probably be too much effort to drag it down the mountain. But there you go. There's Jesus on the mountain, Jesus in the Andes. Should we put it in the shortlist? We'll remember it, and if we're missing one at the end, we'll come back to that, because it is quite interesting in lots of ways. It was a big bronze, we like that, but it's not big enough, is it? It's not giant. It's not giant for our giant Jesus list. This one's getting in just based on the name. We have the little Pukos here, your Ganji Puko warriors. This is Pukamuku. Pukamuku! And it means Puka, red. So I didn't know Puka meant red. This is an indigenous language spoken by the Quechua peoples. Quechua, like ketchup. Quechua. Primarily in the Peruvian Andes. Do you know that we talk about extinctions and languages are going extinct every day? Every day languages are going extinct. What can you do? So it means red and joint. not the, like knee joints. Not the Cheech and Chong, Elon Musk kind. Look, so it means red hill, muku hill or joint. So red hill, Pukamuku. I love it. Pukamuku. I just love the language, the words, the way they put them together. Pukamuku. It's a mountain in Peru. It's situated in the Cusco region. It's a natural viewpoint of the city. So it stands at 3,006 meters tall. So it's high. So it's still, this is probably our tallest above sea level, comparable with the one we just looked at. Spanish for White Christ. but it hasn't told us what it's made of. In fact, Wikipedia is really short on detail here for Pukamuku, but what a great wallop of a statue that is. Probably not as big. We can't really tell. There's not much in the shot to give us much. There's the chain link fence down here at the bottom with those flags, prayer flags. They represent prayers. They're strung out across many places in the northern mountains of... I'm thinking of the Himalayas, so maybe they're not prayer flags. Maybe they're not in the Andes. I don't know. But I'll tell you what, lovely picture with the sky and the clouds behind. Very impressive. Not so sold on the detail in the face. Let me big up your Jesus. Not so sold on the detail of the face there. It's also looking down. It's got that Christ the Redeemer esque quality. Rough hewn robes. Not my favourite in terms of artistic. I mean, look at his little... Ooh, I don't know about that, those toes. What do you think about those toes? I don't know about them. For me, and this is, a bit of a personal thing here, but for me, those toes look a bit unsightly, poking out there. A bit pointy. Devil's got clawed toes, hasn't he? Oh, he's looking down on me there, looking down on me from up on high with a bit of a sullen expression. I think Jesus might smile. Yeah, this is not my favourite Jesus. Sorry, Pukamuku. Love your name. Not a big fan of your Jesus. Should mention this actually, this little disclaimer. Shouldn't I? Now that we're 40 minutes in, I'll mention the disclaimer. If you love Jesus, that's fine. Not many people do these days. It's gone out of fashion. But if you do love Jesus, that's fine. I think Jesus did lots of nice things. I was pleased with his contribution. He seemed like a decent enough chap, didn't he? So this next one is Cristo de la Concordia. It's a statue of Jesus, San Pedro, Bolivia. Cable car. It's on a 6-metre pedestal. It's 34 metres, so this is proper big. Proper big. Where's my face? There we are. It's 1994, so it's fairly modern. Proper big. What do we think of this? What do you think of this? Come on, chat. Come on, chat. Tell me now what you think of the big Jesus. You tell me. It's all right. You don't have to. I understand. It's a weekend. And although it seems like there will be more people on the old internet at the weekend, no, they're busy. They've got things to do. So they'll catch up with this one when I edit it. So no worries. Just chilling. Big Jesus. Lots of holes. Why is Jesus covered in so many holes? Why is this Jesus covered in holes? I'm guessing that's part of the structure, the fixings. I'm only guessing though. Maybe they decorate Jesus with some things and those holes are for that. Why do they got all these holes on it? There can't be gunshots or anything, can they? Where is it? God, it's 2,200 tons. 2 million kilograms. So if that fell on you, Jesus would crush you. It's got a viewing area inside the arms, so that's why these holes are. These are little windows and things. And stairways. Okay. You're only allowed to make the ascent on Sundays. That's appropriate, isn't it? It's smaller than the one in Poland. It's taller than the one in Rio. So this is 4th biggest Jesus. I mean, do you think this gets in? It is vast. It is big. We're looking at big Jesuses. It is big. Could make it, couldn't it? Could make it onto the shortlist. Quite a handsome... let's try and embiggen the Jesus again. Tough for me to do this now with these windows. I'm doing my best for you. No, he's quite a handsome fella. Although kind of artistically stylised to look not quite human. A bit too perfect in a way. There's something not quite right about the face. That if you met someone that really looked like that, you'd be like, is that right? Is that right? Plastic surgery, Jesus. A bit too much chin, a bit too much cheek. Maybe. Centre parting again. Not really gone much for the hair this time. The hair's just there as a just a thin lank like mine now. And those holes must be for the staircase viewing area. You must have to have ventilation if you're going to have a staircase and a viewing area in the arms. So for me, I don't know, the Holy Jesus, it's holy, isn't it? Literally full of holes. So that one's interesting, but it's not made my list. And we're getting down the list now, so it could, we can remember that one as well. So we've got two, the Andes and the Concordia. They could make it. And at the moment we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So they could make it. Let's keep going. Cristo de la Noas. I'll show you the picture first. Let's have a look at the picture first. Can I make it bigger? Can I make it bigger? Moved it around so you can't. There it is. It's not really doing it for me. They've gone for that massive. It is all plinth, but they've turned the plinth into the Jesus again. We've seen this style of Jesus before, where they essentially build a big plinth, and at the top they whack on the head and the arms. So that's not something that I'm a big fan of. Those things are not hanging off Jesus. They're on the buildings behind. Sullen as well. Sullen Jesus, not happy. Big stylized head. Lost a lot of detail. Yeah, not really doing it for me, this one. Let's find out some information. It's in Mexico. It was built between 1973 and 2000, so it took them a long time. It's reinforced concrete, and it's 21 meters. So it's not the biggest, still quite big, not the heaviest, walloped in with concrete. So you can see why they've gone for the simple structure now. Let me move that here. So you can see why they've gone for the simple structure, because if it's made out of concrete, simple structures, easier, more safe, not going to topple over. Probably got lots of steel inside as a reinforced frame that they built on and around. In the Sanctuary of Christ of the Nose, there's a religious resort with replica of the Holy Land, panoramic restaurant. Wow. So I was like, what's he stood in front of? There's a religious resort with a replica of the Holy Land, a panoramic restaurant, and a cable car. I mean, what's a replica of the Holy Land? You're going to have to see my big face for a minute while I just browse this up, so that if anything dodgy comes up on the internet, nobody sees it. Not that it's going to come up on my account, but you never know what comes in when you type go on the search bar. I'm just going to put Crystal Noas Religious Resort. Let's have a look. Images. Now we can go back to web browser. Where is this religious resort? There you are. There you are. So the statue looks more elegant, stood atop this staircase arrangement. And what, you go in and behind it there, that's like Little Palestine. What? What a weird concept for an amusement park. What a strange concept for an amusement park, eh? Is that what making it? It's not making it. It's not making it for me. There it is, illuminated. So you can see that chiseled, expressionless Jesus. Yeah, it doesn't do it for me. But they've got a panoramic restaurant, so panoramic restaurant. Cristo della Minerva by Michelangelo. Ooh, ooh. Oh, the risen Christ, Cristo della Minerva in Italian, also known as Christ the Redeemer or Christ carrying the cross. It's marble, sculpted in the High Renaissance, 1521. It's in the church in Rome to the left of the main altar, so I may have been there and seen this. Is that the actual one? Hang on. The first version, finished by a later artist. Strange. I do know from my studies, from my learnings, that when you make a sculpture, it's not like literally you chip it out of the material and that's it, done, there's your only sculpture. Like they do sketches, they work on different things, you know, you get little pieces, eventually you get the main one, you might do 2 or 3. So that was finished by a later artist. They also had, like Michelangelo would have had students, apprentices at some stage. I'm guessing, but this is what, you know, we'll learn more in art history at some point, but I'm guessing, but this is the norm of the time. And they would have done some of the work. So he'd have said, like, you know, get me the basic body shape carved out of this so I can see what it's looking like. Can you do the leg over it like this? And I'll come and I'll start doing some detail on the old nuts and berries. That may have happened. But this one, they've covered up the nuts and berries, look. How times have changed. That's in Rome. I'm not sure about these Roman marbles. I'm certain almost that they would have been at that. They wouldn't have been painted. They would have looked like that. But the original Greek statues, really interestingly, we see these pale plaster white Greek statues, and everyone thinks of ancient Greece as having all these white statues. They would have been painted. They would have been painted, but the paint just didn't survive, although the statues did. But this would have probably been marble. I mean, that it's going in our top. It's Michelangelo. He's probably one of the better of the turtles. Leonardo was always my favourite. Raphael I always liked as well, even though some people see him as the worst turtle. Michelangelo is one of a good. I mean, they're all good turtles, aren't they? So, but that's Michelangelo. Like, you know, come on, it's Michelangelo. We'll save the big critique and the big learning for the actual tier list that we're going to do out of the top 10. But absolutely, Michelangelo's getting in there. He's got to, hasn't he? So now we've got 5 Jesuses. 5 Jesuses. I've probably seen that as well. Where is this church? Basilica of St. Mary above Minera. I mean, do I recognise it? I think I do. I think I know where it is. I'm not an expert, but I'll show you the basilica. Look, it's only little like that, but it sits on a square. And I think we went to this square at some point. I'm not certain. It's located in the Piazza di Minerva. See, look, there you go. Towards the Pantheon. That's classic Rome, that is. That's just what Rome's like. Let me get the picture up and show you. Look, you got like some more modern buildings, a bit of a thing, and then what's that behind it? It's like something absolutely ancient. Just all sandwiched and wedged in together. Usually there's like 1 million people walking around. Now I've lost the Jesuses. Bring me back to Jesus. Here we go. So we've got Michelangelo. He's in. He's in. Cristo del Otero, a large sculpture and symbol of the city of Palencia in Spain. So we've got quite a few Spanish Jesuses, haven't we? We've got quite a few Spanish Jesuses. And you've got to consider as well that the Southern Americas... Let me just turn off my face and highlight the Jesus. In South America, Spanish and Portuguese people and European people of other kinds, but mainly the Spanish and the Portuguese, they went over there, didn't they, in the past, and did the bad things with the slaves and taking over the places. And they were the ones that put in the Jesuses, or at least the concepts. It's changed, it's lived on, the legacy is what it is, but there's a prevalence of Spanish Jesuses, mainly, I think, because of that prevalence of Spanish culture through that time period. Certainly when Jesus was big, those ideas have then pushed on, and this legacy of giant Jesuses seems to have been created. So this one is located. I'll show you the big one. I'll read the words. It's located on a knoll, on a knoll, K-N-O-L-L, on the outskirts of the city. Another name, much less popular, is the Monument to the Sacred Heart of Jesus. The sculpture was designed by Vittorio Maccio, and it's also the location of his tomb. Wow. Vittorio Maccio was considered to be one of the greats of modern Spanish sculpture. His style was influenced by Art Deco. His home and his workshop in Toledo was converted into a museum dedicated to his work. Let's just have a quick look at him. There he is. He did public monuments. So he's like the dude that's been making the big statues. And for his, for his troubles, he got buried in one. Very interesting. Not my favourite image of Jesus. This one's almost like ghastly alien Jesus. Looks like a grey, doesn't it? Not being racist against aliens. But that doesn't look that appealing. And he's gone for, what is this in the stone? Are these are they inconsistencies in the stone flecks? Are they chips? Quite often the stone can I make it bigger? I think they are. Those white dots all over the Jesus. I think they're chipped stone. Let's just see. I'll show you the big Jesus, and I'll read what it says and see if we can get any information. The initial project wanted to embed ivory and marble into the eyes, but it was insufficient budget. So the empty sockets are now windows. His great verticality and slenderness, maybe because it's designed to be seen from below. One can also interpret this work as a vertical column, in contrast to the horizontality of the countryside. It's covered with grain and sprinkled with poplars and oaks. Oh no, that's the countryside, not Jesus. Yeah. It's more than 20 metres high. The initial project was 21 metres tall, and it was going to have feet of bronze, and it was going to be decorated with golden tiles. And the arms were going to go sideways, but in the end it was restructured to make it lighter. So it's a compromised Jesus. And I didn't find out about the stone, but I will just big face this for a second, because I've got something in my brain now that I want to find out about these chipped stone. I don't know if I will just by... No, I'm not getting anywhere at the moment. Just bear with me 1 second. Bear with me. I will just be literally 2 or 3 minutes just trying to find out chipped stone on European building. No, it's not. It's just giving me, buy block paving. I don't want to buy block paving. Basically, I'll go back and I'll show you what it was that I was going to. So it looks like there's lots of little chip marks on these blocks, and I know from going around big European cities that quite often you'll see these monumental. These are monumental. These buildings are not. These great big buildings made out of big stone, fashioned in the past, and there's lots of chip marks out of the stone. And I often wondered if it's a architectural motif. If it's just something that they've done to, in some way, beautify the stone, even though I consider it to be ugly, having all these chips out of it. It might be something to do with sound. It might be that the traffic noise in the city reverberates off these blocks, so chipping out of them creates a less smooth surface to reflect the sound. It might be, and this is the thing that I settle on more than others, is it might be damage over time, just, you know, periodic accidental damage, but also the fact that we had a war and those buildings would have been standing during the war, so maybe they got damaged during the war, gunfire, things like that. But I don't know for a fact, so I'd love to find out one day, but the internet didn't help me then, so we'll just move on. But Cristo del Otero, as nice as it is and as strange as it is that it is somebody's tomb up on the mountainside, is not quite making it. Although, you know, there is part of me, let's move this around so you can see us again. You see that? Yeah, there is part of me that wants to include it because Victorio Macho. What a name as well, what a name. Let's turn me off while I just quickly take a puff of cigarette, sorry. Victorio Macho, where is he? You know, who doesn't want to be called Victorio Macho? Victorio! The winner, the macho. I mean, he is a great sculptor, and he's done a lot of good work, and this is his tomb, and it's a sculpture, but there was a compromise involved with the arms. So I don't know. Cristo del Pacifico in Peru. No, it's a South American. 37 meters, massive, 2011, modern. A gift from the consortium of Brazilian companies to the city of Lima. It was inspired by Christ the Redeemer. There he is. You can see right up his nose. Hiya chat. Let me just take a minute. Sit right here. Tell you how I became the prince of a town called Bel Air. Samimi. I don't know if I can pronounce your name. I apologise. Zamimi. It's a good name. It's a good name. And I'm guessing that you've announced your age there, because I put in the chat rules, why don't you introduce yourself and say sort of how old you are and the sort of area of the world you're in and stuff like that. So thanks. Nice to see you. Nice to have you here. I'll give you a big face. Give you a big face. There you are. Nice to see you. Nice to have you here. It's all good in the hood. We are browsing giant Jesuses, and we are deciding on whether they make our shortlist for our tier list maker. And once we decided on what the top 10, you know, what we think are maybe the top 10 Jesuses, we'll put them in the tier list maker, and then we'll put, you know, we're really going to, we'll find out who's the best Jesus. So this one's in Lima, Peru. You can see right up his nose. It's an interesting Jesus, isn't it? A lot more detail in the face. A lot more detail in the face. Big, wide arms. Hands reaching up and out. Inspired by the one in Brazil. I'll move it so you can see it while I read you the words. 37 meters. There aren't that many words. It's not telling us what it's made out of. So I don't know. It's good, but it ain't that good, is it? It's good, but it ain't that good. Next Jesus. This is... Let me move it so you can see it. Let me move it so you can see it. Let me move it. There you are. That's Christ the Redeemer of Maratea. It's Italian. Southern Italy. And it's in Carrara marble. That's lovely. Carrara marble. Look at that. I'll even click it. Look, there's Carrara marble. They dig it out of the rock. It's mad, isn't it? It's mad. when you think about it. Not mad in the mental health sense, which of course is a serious topic, but wow, sort of up to the mountain there, and in the mountain, just huge walloping rock. Cut it out nice and square off the mountain there. Cut it out nice and square. Get these big, that one in the foreground that you can see. It's got a chip in the, and that one, and they've got chips. Oh, that'd be annoying, wouldn't it? If it's your only job to cut out these giant, nice square. Done a good job getting the top. No, you chip that one. Is that one rubbish now? Is that one ruined? But look, they're bigger than that little hut. These are vast, big blocks, big old blocks. They just chip them out of the mountain. Just chuff away at the mountain, take down the mountain. And inside is this substance, inside, deep in the mountain. They've been doing this for years as well. This is what it blows my mind. Back in Michelangelo's day, back in the Roman days, they're doing this. Dig away at the mountain. They didn't have diggers and things back then, so it was even more difficult. Get these things out. They're heavy. They're heavy, but they're beautiful. They've got a lovely quality to them. They're soft enough to carve with tools, but hard enough to last eternities. Well, eternities, longer than us. Long enough. And beautiful colours. Beautiful pale. They use the word marbled now, don't they, because of marble, but you know what we mean. That mixture of the two tones, the melding. Beautiful. And it gives life and interest to whatever you create from it. Massive. And then they take that out of the mountain, turn it into this, which I need to move around. They turn it into that. Turn it into a big old Jesus. But to be fair, this is made in 1965 by Bruno Innocenti, and I do know off the top of my head that Bruno Innocenti is a top artist, so I'm not going to diss it too much, but it don't look like the Jesus that we're used to seeing. For a start, he's got the little shorty haircut. It looks more like one of the disciples, doesn't it? The wings of the arms, what's going on there? The way the robes create these sort of wings. What's going on there? I think what's going on there is the arms are so delicate and thin at the top there that they wouldn't hold their own weight in marble. So they've been added to with this sort of putty-like wings of the robe just to give them some structure and strength. So again, I think that's a compromise in the artistic structure. It's got this feminine quality because it looks like it's a long dress. It's got that big plinth. It's another one of these where you've got a big plinth, a little head, and some arms on top. There's not much quality to the midsection there. But what this Jesus is doing that the others aren't is stepping forward. Seems to be in motion. There's a lot more motion about this, so there's something to be said for that. Not my favourite. Interesting face. Can I make Jesus' face big enough for you to see why it's interesting? Can make it a bit bigger. Interesting face, but vaguely a little bit more. I want to say human. A little bit more normal. A little bit more like you could see that fella on the bus. Which tea is my tea that I've made today, and which tea is the tea that I had here the other day? Oh no! Jesus off the bus. So let's just make that. Oh no, I'm pressing the wrong button on the wrong page. There you go. Do that, and I'll make it bigger. Don't you worry. I'll make it bigger. Look, I'll make it bigger. There you are. This Jesus. Do you think it makes the shortlist? What do you reckon? Do you want this one on the shortlist? F's in chat for Jesus. I'll just read a little bit about it. The sculpture was created by the Florentine sculptor Bruno Innocenti. The idea to realise the statue was the Count Stefano Rivetti of Valcervero. He was the promoter and financer of the project. So just one person paid for a giant Jesus. Third largest in Europe, 3 meters high, not that big, but the third largest in Europe, not giant though. He was flying. Oh, he came back from Italy and he asked Bruno Innocenti, the professor of sculpture, to make Christ the Redeemer. So there you go. He was flying over the country and he was like, "We need a big Jesus," and that's all you can be told. Who's next? Angolan Jesus, a Catholic monument and shrine looking over the city of Lubango in Angola. Got a problem here because it's a photograph from a bit of a distance. Isn't it? That one is a photograph from a bit of a distance. Isn't it? I can't tell much about it. We're all going for these arms out, aren't we? If you're making a statue of Jesus these days, I propose you don't go for the arms out. It's been overused. It's been overdone. If you somehow get commissioned, someone asks you, can you make a statue of giant Jesus for me? Say yes. Absolutely say yes. What a great project to be involved in, even though Jesus isn't that popular anymore. But still be a great project to be involved in. I'm just going to turn my face off for a second. I'm not a member of the church or anything, I don't pray to Jesus like this, but from what I understand, they've got a lot of money, and so being involved with their projects allows you to express artistic ideas, well funded, and then it's got that religious aspect to it as well. So I don't know if Michelangelo was big into Jesus when he did his Jesus. I don't know if this one was made by someone who loved Jesus or just loved sculpturing, but they got the opportunity, they've whacked it up. 30 metres high, so it is massive. That's proper massive. White marble, 1957. Portuguese engineer designed it. So not an artist, but an engineer. And it's a World Heritage Site in Angola. It was built by ancient settlers of the region of Madeira as a Catholic landmark. And it represented colonial interests. So it's got a bit of a bad colonial interests. Built on a base of cement and hydraulic lime. Foundation of stones, cement and bricks. 2 levels to support a ladder to the last. Giant hillside. Colonial Jesus. Next, Christ the King. Art Deco. Art Deco. So Art Deco is a period in the 1920s, I believe, of design. It was like a modern kind of design. You would recognise the Art Deco imagery from gangsters and moles and flappers, and flappers are people who dance with a certain style, like 1920s, elegant lines, chandeliers, those little hats that the ladies wore, like little, and then the dresses and the cigarettes with the long thing that on the end of a cigarette on the end of a long holder thing, all that sort of style. A lot of like straight lines, parallels. Why am I going on about this? Because Christ the King is an Art Deco statue. It's in Madeira, so Portuguese. Is Madeira Portuguese? So Portugal again, big on these. What is with Portugal and the giant Jesuses? Why the giant Jesuses? There's some history, and I'll read you the history. Non-Catholic Christians were thrown from the cliffs, as only Catholics were allowed to be buried on the island until 1770. I don't know if they were thrown from the cliffs alive or dead. It didn't say, but my guess is they were alive. No, dead. because they weren't allowed to be buried there, so they just threw them off the cliff. When the British Ceremony of Funchal was established for non-Catholic Christians, the Jewish Cemetery of Funchal was established in 1851. The statue was built in remembrance of the function of the area's history. The statue was built in 1927 and consecrated in 1927, financed by a local lawyer. Again, this is one person. He's got loads of money, and his wife. They commissioned French artists, Pierre-Charles Lenoir and Georges Seurat, and it was 4 years before the one in Brazil. But the one in Brazil took 30 years to build, so sort of going on at the same time, competing ideas of Jesus going up. Similar ideas of Jesus. Let's have a look at how it looks. Does this make your shortlist? Does this make the top 10 images of Jesus? Is this a top 10 all-time Jesus? It's a lot darker, but maybe that's the photography, but it's not, is it? It's also the material that's being used. It's a lot darker, which is interesting. The Art Deco element to it doesn't really come through strongly, although you can see where those sleeves droop. There's more angle to that, it's more square. And you can see this sort of like flatness to the way the arms go out, almost like a board in that cloth. The way the cloth sits, that's more Art Deco, but not dramatically Art Deco. You know, it's just sitting in that period, isn't it? So they called it that, but it doesn't scream Art Deco to me. Head on top, big plinty style. Yeah, it's okay. It's not amazing for me. Not amazing. Madeira. Cristo de Rey in Colombia. So more South Americans. Cristo Rey, King, I think means. Christ the King, yeah. 26 meters tall, big. It's on the Hill of Crystals in the Andes, Colombia. The hill's so called because salt would be collected in the surrounding, quartz could be collected in the surrounding area. Lovely. The statue was built in 1953, celebrating the end of the War of 1,000 Days. It's made of iron and concrete. Again, a decent Jesus, but you know, it's not screaming out, put me on the shortlist. Terrible photograph, really, because it's photographed with the light behind it here. So you can't see any of the detail. Like the sky's nice, you can see the detail in the sky, but Jesus, no. Would have been better if the sun was facing Jesus and you got all the detail of the face. But we can see some detail. It looks a bit long-faced, looks a bit spooky. Not my favourite Jesus. Again, we've got the big plinth, got the arms out. Very similar again, so we'll just skim over that one. Not my favourite Jesus. And apparently an artist, Gerardo Navier Carval, was commissioned to build it, but he only made the model and then he abandoned it. He abandoned his giant Jesus. We've seen this one already. We saw this one in episode 1, didn't we? We've already rated this one. I don't know how it's made it on twice. Divine Mercy Shrine. Misamis Oriental. What is this? The Divine Mercy Shrine is a Catholic monument in El Salvador, Misamis Oriental, Philippines. So it's in the Philippines. Again, we've got this Southern American. Is the Philippines Southern America? Hang on, I'm just going to have to big face while I just quickly check the map. Philippines. And we've got to remember Prince Philip's having his funeral at 3 o'clock, so I'm supposed to be doing a minute's silence at 3 o'clock. Republic of the Philippines, Southeast Asia. So it's Asia. What am I talking about? Of course it's Asia. Let's have a look at the old map. I'll show it. Yeah. There's a picture of the map web browser. It's over there. I thought it might be with the South Americas. I don't know why. It's over there. That's where it is, all the way over there. And what's happened is that the people in the Philippines have no real interest in Jesus, like not organically of that. Oh, you couldn't see that. There you go, it looks like that. It's nice. They didn't grow up talking about Jesus, though. They didn't. Their tribes and their cultures and civilizations did not talk about Jesus. But at some point, Western people went over there and talked about Jesus to them. The Divine Mercy Shrine is a Catholic monument, you see. All these steps up to it. You've got to go up all those steps. That'll tire you out. And you get up there and that's the view. It's nice. What is this? Painting in the sanctuary. So it's a painting. That's not even a giant Jesus, mate. The 9-hectare land for the shrine was purchased. The shrine was completed. I mean, I don't think that's fair to put this in there, because there is no giant statue of Jesus, is there? It's just the shrine itself is giant. Next, Jesus the Greatest. Bless. Jesus the Greatest is a statue of Jesus Christ in a Baja village in Nigeria. It's considered Africa's largest statue of Jesus, and it's the 5th tallest in Africa's continent. I wonder if that "the greatest," I was chuckling away there because, "the greatest" seems like a slang term rather than "the greatest," "the greatest." And you would say, oh no, the. But actually in Nigeria, really interesting history. They had 2 tribes in Nigeria and they got along really well. They shared the country, they mixed, they integrated. And then when the colonial British went there, we segregated them. I think it was the British. We segregated these tribes as a sort of divide. Am I right here? Am I talking about a different place? I might be talking about Rwanda. Pretty sure Nigeria's got two different cultures, 2 different languages, and that through the colonial times, we heightened those differences and caused problems. But the legacy is that they have a language called Pidgin. I'll show you. Let me just show you some cool stuff just for a minute. Big face. You'll like this. It'll be interesting. I want the BBC News. I'll show you the BBC News quickly. You'll think this is really interesting. You will, trust me, you'll like this. So if we just go to web browser again, this is the BBC News as it looks today. There's a funeral procession for the Prince, which I should go and watch really. There's the news anyhow. That's the BBC News. It's all normal as you would expect. Let's go to big face so I can browse up this. And this is the BBC News. But there's something different about it, look. Prince Philip funeral, how ego happen, who fit come, and how watch am live. It seems like the words have been written strangely in a sort of weird English. New informate 1 hour weighed on pass. What's happening? Are they taking the mickey? No. What this is Pidgin English. It's a form of English spoken. It's Nigerian, really. It's a form of language spoken in Nigeria. A sort of holdover from the colonial times where we introduced British English to the country, but they have their own cultures and words and ways of speaking. And it just, now we have this, a sort of commonly understood language that both people of all different cultures in Nigeria have added their little bits, mainly English, but changed and adapted, and something that they can all share, and a language we can all talk and understand. Easier for some people to, I can understand this, even though I've not grown up in Nigeria and their culture, so easier for maybe Westerners to understand, but really interesting, isn't it? Really interesting that the BBC in Nigeria presents news in this Pidgin Nigerian language. It's called BBC News Pidgin. I I'm not that that's as much as I know about this. I'm not that educated. I'm not a professional linguist, but I find it really interesting. I think it's really cool. Voting done end for some polling units for Port Harcourt and Obi Akpor local government areas, and counting done begin for some polling units as these local governments they're going to end. I can understand it. I can read it, and it makes me feel that if I were to spend time in Nigeria, I could communicate with people in a language they have formed themselves over time, without prescribing my form of English onto them. In a weird way, it is English, though, isn't it? That's been prescribed onto them, and they've taken control over. I don't know. I'm not that educated on who forms the language and whose ideas are predominant in it, but that's really interesting, Pidgin English in Nigeria. So this Jesus the Greatest, it's not some silly mistake. It's their form of Anglicised language, isn't it? It's strange, but interesting. And something to be celebrated. So it's considered Africa's largest statue. We haven't seen a picture of it yet, though, have we? So I'm going to have to big face while I browse up a picture of it. Jesus the Greatest statue. Let's get some pictures going. Largest statue in Africa. Yeah. That's the one. Okay, web browser. So there we go. That's Jesus the Greatest. I feel like it needs to go in because of the context of it being the largest one in Africa. And unless we find a better Jesus in Africa, I think that Africa needs to be represented. Although African culture, Jesus is not common for. There's one in Nigeria. That's a lovely picture of it. See now, okay. Looking at it like that, that's got to go in. It's one of the more impressive, more realistic Jesuses. The detail in the hands, the fact he's being crucified, you can see the marks in the hands, but the actual hands just look so human. Big arms, partially unclothed. But just swaddled in a sort of sheet, really, isn't he? There's definitely some majesty about that, but the picture's so good. The sky, the balance of the light, that's all really good. Again, sullen-faced. It's a shame to me that he's so sullen-faced and not more appealing, smiling, loving, benevolent, angular nose, and a very white Jesus, again. It's made out of a white stone, isn't it? But also a very Western, sort of Germanic, slightly Arabic maybe, but more Germanic, Western look to the face. Centre parting again, beard, Western hair. So strange that they would choose to, let's find out more about Jesus the Greatest and when it was built. 66 foot. Oh, sorry, the Sphinx is 66 foot. This is 160 foot. I don't know if that includes its... No, sorry, the African Renaissance... I'm getting confused. This is not 160 foot. Something else is the largest thing, and it's that. This is 8.5 metres. 8.5 metres. Carved out of white marble, yeah. Commissioned in 2013. So it's so modern. It's really modern. Where is it? Really modern. So modern, in fact, that I find it almost offensive that it's not depicting a more ethnically African Jesus. I know it's silly for me to say, Jesus in your culture should look like your culture. That's not exactly true, is it? No, I'm being silly there. But Jesus himself, we did discuss in the last episode, probably didn't look white, what's the word? Caucasian, like being as he was from Palestine, I learned in the last episode. So, and for this monument to be put up at such modern time, in such a modern time, and it is a very classic looking Jesus, and if the people love Jesus, they want to see Jesus, the way they expect to see him. But yeah, it's going on the list. I think it's got to go on the list, hasn't it? Jesus the Greatest. It's huge, it's massive, it's modern, it's very good work, craftsmanship. It's white marble, which I think is a lovely material, even if a little racially insensitive in this context. So that one's gone on the list. We've got Jesus the Greatest. King of Kings statue was a statue. Oh, my days. I just make that small. You might be able to read it. Don't worry about it. I'll read it for you. King of Kings was a 62-foot statue of Jesus on Interstate 75 at the Solid Rock Church. Solid Rock Church, a 4,000-member Christian megachurch near Monroe, Ohio. It was destroyed by a lightning strike and subsequent fire on the 14th of June. It was made out of metal, and the sculpted figure was made from styrofoam covered by fiberglass, so not designed to last. Can I get a picture? Can I get a witness? That's the end screen. Let me do my big face while I try and search you up a picture of this. King of Kings, State 75. Let me just copy that. Let me just put that in the browser. Sorry. I have to do a big face while I do this, because otherwise, if anything dodgy came up on the internet by mistake, if someone had saved a picture of, something rude under King of Kings statue, and it just came up, then that would be bad, wouldn't it? So, thankfully nothing has, but this is what was going on in Ohio. I've been to Ohio. I never saw this. It's not going to make the shortlist because it doesn't exist anymore, but let's just take some time to really, let's just take some real time to really appreciate this. I can't get the corners. There's the corners. This Jesus. Coming up out of the water like Godzilla. Coming up out the water like Godzilla. Come on. What do you think in chat? Is this your favourite Jesus, or is this your least favourite Jesus? Does this make you think of Jesus even? It reminds me of somebody else out of the Bible. It makes me think of Noah, because coming up out of the water, half submerged. Jesus is not known in the Bible for being half submerged, is he? Got a water fountain there where my face was covered. Water fountains going off. If I just move him, you'll see, look. Water fountains. Are they supposed to... Is he turning them into wine? He's pleading at the sky, look. He's pleading up to God. Why is Jesus imploring God? I mean, that's a strange look. Almost commanding the elements. This is in Ohio, America. So this is like modern America. So you can do whatever you've got modern, lots of money, big church. Gone for styrofoam. Looks like it's been made out of modelling putty. His arms. No detail. There's quite a lot of detail in the face, but it's of this Abrahamic, old school biblical figure. Doesn't remind me of Jesus, but then maybe it's a more realistic Palestinian look. I don't know. Who's to say what Jesus looked like? But I just instinctively feel that's a bit more Old Testament there. It's got the cross, he's got the crucifix, but look how little it is. So this Jesus has become big. This is a giant. But they didn't bother putting him up on high, putting him up big, just down in the water. And then he's made out of metal inside and styrofoam. So one day, what it would have looked like to see, we can see one day. He got hit by lightning and he went on fire, and that's what's inside Jesus there now. Everything going on fire, look, and it's just like that now. So God's told you what he thought of you, Jesus, there. Not making the shortlist, but what a funny little story. Ohio, King of Kings, burned to a crisp. Hang on, we haven't got that many left, so let me just check the shortlist. We've got 1, 2. I'm so many windows. I'm going to get a second monitor. I'm going to sort this out. We've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 maybe on the bottom there. And we've got on our shortlist Rio Jesus, the Flying Jesus. We've got Jesus in the Sea. We've got, so I'm supposed to be counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got 6. So we're looking for another 4. Lux Mundi. Lux Mundi. Lux stands for Light of the World. It's at Solid Rock Church. Oh, the story continues. This one, they built this on top of the old burned Jesus. They're like, come on then, God. Come and have a go if you think you're hard enough. What happened to my first statue of Jesus? Oh, it got struck by lightning and burned to a crisp. But what are you going to do? We ain't giving up. We ain't giving up. We ain't done yet. Let's do something a bit better. Let's come on. The last project wasn't quite up to scratch, was it? But this is actually much better. It's giant. Certainly dwarfs that little man there stood next to it. Giant enough. Not vast giant, not American giant, but big. Simple, elegant design. Built to stand, a bit more of the elements. A bit more humble and a bit more friendly. Jesus giving you a hug. Jesus giving you a hug there. It's got a bit of a pleasant, not sullen, not a big smile, but a bit more pleasant to expression to the face, which you can't see very well because it's so little. Don't want to download it. No thanks. Stop it. I can try and make it a bit bigger for you. Look. See how he's a bit smiley? A little bit smiley. It's nicer, isn't it? It's a nicer Jesus. Simple clothing. That's what you want. You want people to come to your church. You don't want giant flaming coming up from the sea, Godzilla fighting monsters, bringing God down from heaven, lightning Jesus, burning marshmallow s'mores Jesus. You want a nice big stone Jesus of the ages. I like that. I quite like it. It replaced the one burned by the fire. It was designed by Tom Sucha, an American artist who creates public sculpture. Cool. He did bronze sculptures for the Major League Baseball and the National Football League. So he's doing all the important work, all the big things. Baseball players, football players, and Jesus. Here you can see... What? Controls? It was designed using CAD, so it's modern. It's got a metal structure there, I guess. Plane 9 control, min max. What do they mean, control? The statue shows Jesus. I'll move it so you can see it while I read about it. The statue shows Jesus stepping forward with a welcoming gesture, a pose inspired by the Gospels of St. Matthew and St. John. The statue, it faces a highway, and it stands on a foundation decorated by rocks, and it's still got the fountains. They chose its predecessor's name was Touchdown Jesus, obviously because of the what looked like goalposts that were left over. Lex Mundi has earned the nickname Hug Me Jesus. Yeah. It's polymer and steel. It's fire-resistant materials, including a lightning suppression system. So it's a modern material. It's not like carved out of rock or anything. It's layered polymer. Really interesting. That might get on there. I think that's got to get on there simply because of we're going to put this on the shortlist because of the backstory, and it gives us a chance to have a look at the backstory in the final episode as well. So let's go for that. So now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got Rio, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we've got 6 Jesuses. I'm looking for 4 more. There's 2 that we looked at that we could still incorporate, that we could still go for. Let's keep moving forward. I've only been doing an hour and a half on stream today of giant Jesuses. Only an hour and a half. So I did want to watch the Prince's funeral, but I think we might as well push through the final list here. The last 4, and then we'll be prepared then for our final broadcast where we do the shortlist. The tier list with the tier list. This one is not getting in. It just is not getting in because it's all plinth, no Jesus. Look at it. The globe's got some colour to it, which is, we haven't seen much colour in any of these statues yet. But all plinth, no Jesus. Sorry, mate. We're looking for giant Jesuses. We're not looking for giant plinths. This is in Piazza El Salvador, which is Central America again. So we've got even more Central American Jesuses. Patangius Christus in West Papua New Guinea. And there's no image, so I'm going to search this up. So you'll have to see my big face while I quickly search this up. You'll have to see my big face. What? I think... Hang on. What's going on here? Let me go to web browsing. It's brought up these pictures of Jesuses that we've seen before, isn't it? Does that Patang Jesus Christus just mean giant statue of Jesus? Because look, it's brought up all these others. Indonesia, Brazil. So that doesn't make sense, does it? There's a statue on West Papua. This is so big, yeah. Weird. Okay, give me a second. Give me a second on big face. I'm going to search it up again. I'm going to get a better... Not Amazon. I don't want to search with Amazon, do I? I'm not going to buy the bloody thing. No, it's bringing up Christ the Redeemer again. Why is it doing that? Okay, I've definitely... That's TripAdvisor. So I'm thinking... Indonesia... Mansinam. Yeah, this is the one. Okay. Web browser. So this is giant Jesus in Man Sinam. Very flat Jesus. Isn't it, look? Very flat Jesus. And he's atop this sort of oriental pagoda structure. Big plinth, flat Jesus, not much information. Massive though. Massive, if that's 30 metres. You know, it's as big as the Rio Jesus. That's the Rio Jesus. That's the Indonesian Jesus. Very pretty as well, the area around it. So I'm starting to be warmed to it. Structural ideas surrounding a strangely foreign, you know, in this area with these Oriental and Indonesian imagery and structures. Yeah, kind of like a juxtaposition Jesus. You know, it doesn't seem to be... It's like someone's walloped that in the Indonesian countryside where it doesn't seem to belong. What do you think? Ah, look, I moved the chat and you just popped up. Hello, capital K. Hello, capital K. I'll move my face. I'll shuffle me so that you can get a bit more of you. Shuffle me and we'll have a bit more of you. What do you think about this one? It's baffling me. It's baffling me. I can't decide. Is this good? I mean, it's huge. Let me just read what it says again. 29.5 metres tall. But 15 metres of pedestal. Oh, here we go again. I don't neglect you. It's just, it doesn't pop off for me, does it? I keep checking it. When I give it a little jiggle like that, little wiggle and jiggle like that, then it'll do it. But if I don't, it might be because I've put this other window over the top like that, and they're both like the computer's saying this is your Firefox window, and your chat is also a Firefox window. So maybe I have to keep being on. I don't know. We're talking about Jesus. We're talking about giant Jesuses. This one, okay, so it's only, and it was put in by the president of the Indonesian. He was a politician, army general, so it's modern, 2014. 14.5 metres of Jesus. 14.5 metres of Jesus. Jesus first, chat second. That's how it should be, shouldn't it? Not all the Jesuses, not every time. But we've been through quite a few Jesuses, you see. I wonder as well, now we're coming towards the end, as we're coming towards the end of these Jesuses, if we could rate them in a different fashion. Like if they were all to come to life and they were to fight it out, which Jesus would be the victor. I still think Rio Jesus has got a good shout just by being the biggest. But I just can't decide. Is this one going on the shortlist or not? Like, there's something, so that's Rio Jesus. And then there's this, and it's just so similar, isn't it? So if Rio Jesus is so good, why isn't this one? With its beautiful plinths and floral countryside and strange context. There's someone on their holidays, look. Jesus number 1. They're having a good time. Yeah, look, they're having a good time. It's going on the list. Copy. Let's put that on the short list. Now I've got to find the effing window. There's another window. Jesus' house has many rooms. Mine's got many windows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now I'm being a bit liberal towards the end of the list because we still need to find 3 more. So I'm being a bit liberal. So about the pedestal's upsetting. It's like a. You see, that's what I can't decide. Is it good or is it bad? It's like a optical illusion Jesus, isn't it? It's like a. Because I bet you could go and walk underneath it, and yet just those little pillars holding it up, Jesus could crush you. I wonder if that little sign in front says, please don't walk underneath the Jesus. You see, but it's okay if you don't like it. It's okay if it's not the best Jesus, because the final 10 shortlist, we're then going to do the tier list maker, aren't we? So this could end up near the bottom of the tier list, but we need some other Jesuses to compare and contrast against. So, I mean, the fact it's in Indonesia as well. We've had the Philippines, but Indonesia is so way out there that I wouldn't expect. If you're on holiday in Indonesia, if you've gone for your little holidays and you're having your nice food and seeing your nice countryside and, you know, a different social structure developed over a different a different sort of timeline, then you'd stumble across giant Jesus. You'd be like, oh, hello, recognise him. I'm sure Jesus would be happy to crush humans. Crushed. It looks almost like like he could fly around on that as well, doesn't he? Like sort of future tech Jesus. This is Elon Musk Jesus, isn't it? This one's Elon Musk Jesus. And I like the colour as well. We haven't seen much colour. So we've added in, like, they've adorned his plinth with colour. Jesus himself has not been coloured in. Just looks like he could have been. Looks like it could be paint by numbers Jesus. Looks like they just haven't finished it. They haven't got onto the Jesus yet. They haven't finished that plinth by that guy's. You know, it's still a bit there to be done. So he's in. Next, Sacred Heart. Oh dear. The Sacred Heart of Jesus is a giant statue of Jesus. Now, I did say that I wanted to see more colour, didn't I? I did say that. Giant statue of Jesus in Rojas Capiz in the Philippines. So again, we're out in the Asias here, Philippines, aren't we? Philippines. 132 foot, 40 metres. Massive. Massive. It's said to be the tallest of its kind in the Philippines. It was built in 2015 with the Pueblo de Pane mixed-use development. It's in a township. I mean, this 7-man team built this. 3 years. Trying to find out what it's made of. It's got an elevator shaft in the middle, reinforced concrete, slabs built to last. It's made of reinforced concrete, I think. This is a gallery here. Hang on, can I move the gallery? Right, okay. Look, yeah, look, you can see that's Jesus' head. So they've done this concrete structuring of, you use like iron, steel, I think it's steel, they're metal and they're bars, but they're thin enough to bend, and like you create these structures and then you pour the concrete over the top and it sticks onto the structures. You know what I'm talking about. That's how you make a giant Jesus these days. And if we move this around, look, you can see, look, that this is them painting. This is the sculptor on top of it, and they're painting it, which I think is blooming awesome. Let's get a big picture then. We're going to have to... This one's going on the list as well. I'm just going to put it on the list right now, because we know it's going on the list, don't we? This one's a guaranteed Jesus. Jesus guarantee. Or your money back. I guarantee you'll love my Jesus, or your money back. Let's find a big old picture of this. Copy. I'll do big face. You hear my brain working while I do this now. Big face, and I'm using Google because even though I'm not planting trees when I do the searching, I'm getting the pictures. Jesus. Oh, these are some pictures of Jesus. Look at that! There he is. Up in the hills. Up on a plinth, but not like a magic plinth that he appears to be flying from. Like a little thing. Everyone else has started off with the big plinth. Everyone else has gone big plinth. But over here, we've gone... And I tell you what as well. That's a building in front. There, that's a building. So if Jesus just starts to topple... Just big face. Bye-bye, big face. Big face is coming and going, We're looking at big Jesuses. I can't have big face and big Jesus. That would be too much for me to corroborate on the screen. Look at this one, though. He's in front of the building. So if he does start to topple, you've got to hope he goes down the hill. Hope he goes sliding down the hill. Because if he topples onto the... and you're all in there, why would you put your big... I suppose it's a gift shop, isn't it? I suppose it's a, like, restaurant and gift shop. You buy yourself a little mini Jesus to go on your dashboard after you've visited the giant big Jesus. But look at that, red. Why has no one took a picture of it in a high resolution? There you go. Look, there's one. That's the one from Wikipedia that we didn't even want because it doesn't have all the rest of him. God, they put the hands. They put the hands. It does, doesn't it? The pedestal. Just seems like, whose idea was that? It just looks, oh, come on. It looks like they just like a bit of pallet, like a bit of wooden pallet on top of some. There you go, a better view there from the side. That seems a little safer there from the side in a way. But they could finish that off, couldn't they? They could finish that and fill it out a bit more. Looks like they've left the scaffold up just to be safe. And he's waving. Is he waving or is he stopping traffic? Don't shoot, Jesus. It's don't shoot, Jesus. And Jesus has got the holes in the hands. They've gone for that big motif. Definitely Jesus. You know it's Jesus. He's got holes in his hands. Whether his face looks like Jesus or not, they've gone for the dark hair, which is not a common. They're giving him the dark hair. Centre parting, but coming forward over like that. Not centre parting, coming back off the face. So interesting on the hair there. Interesting, and then hanging down heavy. Little beard. Looks a bit like Russell Brand, doesn't he? But he looks like he's don't shoot. And then he's putting his hands up and his sleeves haven't gone with it. It's like so square. And his elbows and what's all this? He's got big thick arms. Or is that clothes? It's very strange, the arms. Very strange. Up there, on the hills as well. You've got to drive up the hills to get there. Look, up there. Not like down in the town. Right up there. Not the prettiest, most picturesque, but right up there. Wow. Jesus. How many have we got on our shortlist now? I'll just check one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8. Oh, we only need 2 more, and we've got 2 that we could have put on, but we decided no, we're not so sure. There was that bronze one in the Andes that I quite like because it was bronze. So we'll come back to this in the big tier list with a few more facts. But up to what does that say? No dating allowed. What? 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 No dating allowed. That's a nicer one there. Shrine of Sacred Heart of Jesus. There he is. Videos. We'll have to have a look at a video one of these days. That's coming in the... What is it? It's a giant Jesus. Giant. He's red as well. He's got red. Gone for red. Wearing his red costume. Sagrat Core de Jesus in Ibiza, Spain. I'm surprised that's all plinth. We're not even... There's no point. There's no point. It's all plinth. You used to have a hole in your left hand? Blimey. That sounds serious. Not like this. But like in your hand. Sounds serious. Wow. Good job. I'm assuming you're right-handed because most people are. Good job it was your left hand, I guess. Always look on the bright side. Unless you live in Sagrat Cor de Jesus, where your Sagrat Cor de Jesus is just rubbish. It's just a massive tower. And then Jesus walloped on top. Someone's even, when they took the photo, well, Ibiza, Spain is notorious for being a party town, lots of sunshine. No one's having a party and there's no sunshine. They took the worst photo they could. So we're getting off. We're not even staying there. But what I did want to say, Ibiza, Spain, we've got a lot of Spanish. We've got a lot of South American Spanish speaking. We've got a lot of. Let me just put something on the screen while I'm talking. We've got a lot of. A lot of Spanish, a lot of South American, a lot of one sort of area seems to be going on. We've got a bit of American. Oh, wow. Oh, spooky. Spooky. Maybe it was. Maybe we've all got a bit of Jesus in us. Maybe that's a bit of the old. DNA de Ray. Maybe so. Maybe so. Maybe you've got a bit of Jesus in you. Lots of Spanish, aren't there? I got confused. We've got an American one. We've got an African one. Is there any continent that hasn't represented with Jesus? Australia and the UK. I haven't seen a British Jesus. This one is called the statue of Jesus, titled "I've Come to Save the World." It's the tallest Jesus statue in the Middle East. Oh, and of course, why haven't we got so many in the old hometown? Maybe it's an indication I should always take the left-handed path. Did you know, little fun fact, that the word sinister, I'll write it in, sinister. I didn't have to write it in chat, but I did. Sinister, Latin for left-handed, but or left. I should be more educated on this. It's Latin for left hand, and so it became a word that meant like sinister and bad, but originally it didn't mean that. It just meant left-handedness, I think. Fun fact that might not be a fact. This one that we're looking at here is in the Middle East, so I was surprised that we didn't have so many statues of Jesus over there, because they're into Jesus, aren't they, where he would come from and all that, aren't they? Or maybe they're not, are they? They've got the Israel, Judaism, and then Islam. Yeah, maybe they're not into Jesus. That's ironic, isn't it? They don't like him that much where he used to live. But this one is in the Middle East. It's 2013. Where though? Where? Jerusalem. On the route to Jerusalem from Constantinople. So that's appropriate, isn't it? That's appropriate. And it's metal again, isn't it? Bronze. I like bronze. This could make it. Armenian sculptor. It's got a lot of, it's representing in all those factors that I just said I think we should. Worldly representative, well sculpted, bronze, striking. Quite a lot of plinth. Yeah, quite a lot of plinth. I think you like the detail. You see the detail here, yeah. I even like the plinth because of this whole Jerusalem conflict thing. This plinth even speaks of torsion. I don't know, yeah. There's something special about this one. Going to pop this one on because then we're only looking for one more, aren't we? And then I think we're 1, 2, 3. I have to count them every time. 3, 4, 5. I should have put little numbers by them. 6, 7, 8. Yeah, put this one on. Then we've got 9 Jesuses. And this one's out there in that part of the world. We can learn more about it in the final episode if we use it. North of Damascus. Yeah, that's a good place to have a Jesus. And then we've got 2, 3 more. And if we don't find one there, we'll pick out one of the other 2 that I liked from before. So that one's on top of the This probably goes quite high doesn't it? Quite high, being as it's on top of the church. But that don't count, does it? Do you think that counts? You can't even see it. Right up on the top there. And it's interesting because you go to church to sort of communicate with God, don't you? You know, you're part of the congregation. You're in there singing to God. He's on top. He's on the roof. Come down off the roof. What are you doing up there? On the roof, mate. Not just on the roof as well. Not just like out that, you know, you come out the window onto the balcony, have a little, don't need cigarettes, they're naughty. You know, have a little coffee in the sunshine. Not that, but on the roof, like fully on the roof. It's like when you've got a naughty, I don't want to say child because I used to do it and I wasn't a child, I was like a teenager, a naughty boy who at some sort of social gathering party, or we did it once when we went to a school. Should we say this? We went to a school. Definitely don't do this. Definitely don't do this if you're at school. But we went to an outward bound retreat thing, like country house activities in the countryside, running through wet leaves, horrible. And in the evenings to entertain ourselves, we had like, you know, table tennis and things like that. And me and a friend got on the roof. Like right up on the roof as well. So don't do that, it's naughty. But yeah, like a naughty Jesus there, right up on the roof, isn't he? What are you doing up there? Come down from there. It's dangerous. Church beautiful, Jesus teeny weeny. Oh yeah, that's a good point. I should have noticed that the church is in itself is absolutely splendid, isn't it? Yeah. Look at that. Beautiful architecture. And it's up on a hill as well. It's nicely up on a hill. Something to go and do, isn't it? Pop up to the church for a day. Have a little ice cream out on the hill. Not getting in our list. Get off me list. Get off me list, you tiny Jesus. This one is... What? Okay, this one's in South Korea. So I'd love to put this in, because we do have a Korean friend that watches stream and the videos, but we have no picture of Jesus. Where's me Jesus? Is this Where's Wally Jesus? There's a little sign there. Can you spot the Jesus? Please don't feed the Jesus. Please don't feed the Jesus. Don't climb on the rocks. That probably says. That's what that says. Don't climb on the rocks. Snow graveyard. I mean, it's a beautiful place. And I'll tell you something that I love about this. That sort of angel wings at the back there. They're nice. It's... Oh, the battery ran out on my mouse. It's a sign from Jesus. Don't worry, I've got a bag of batteries. These are all the spare battery. They're the used up batteries that the rest of my family think are dead. But they're not dead. Just like Jesus, I can resurrect them. Because the mouse will suck out the last dregs of life. And it means I don't have to spend money on batteries until we get through that bag. And then we're in trouble. Anyway, look. What I think is beautiful is there's writing on that one. There's writing on the one at the back, but the others are natural. It's like a sort of really subtle, sympathetic use of stone within a natural setting to create something that's both man-made and really natural. And what a perfect, what elegant choices for a graveyard. Yeah. So that, I mean, I'd love visiting graveyards in our Western culture. I do suck out. I concentrate on Jesus. Jesus, the culture. Yeah, in Western culture, graveyards much more normally are much more flat. Lots of graves. It's much more regimented in order. Like, you know, you all have your spaces in lines. This is much more higgledy-piggledy, isn't it? Much more natural, organic. And to visit would be calming, I believe. I don't know, yeah, it's something good about that. Something special. It's a worship and recreation centre. Wow, it's not a graveyard. It's a worship and recreation centre. Worship and recreation as part of a Christian gospel mission. It's got various facilities and tracts of land. It was a design that would not damage its surroundings but visualise the beauty as much as possible. Yeah, cool. Walking trails, pond, art gallery, statues. It's dedicated to the Holy Trinity. We can't find the Jesus. I can't find the Jesus. Oh, there he is. Where's Wally? There he is. Not giant. Not giant enough. Lovely. Lovely. Interesting. Okay, interesting as well. It's made out of white marble, I'm guessing, but the snow at the base is whiter than the white stone. And usually the white stone stands out against the background as being strikingly bright because we talked about earlier how they're digging the marble out of the ground. It's amazing that it comes from deep underground and yet is so vividly white. But you didn't in the history of materials, until we got to now where you can have anything you want on billboards. Back then, you didn't have so many options. So something so vivid as a material, as a medium to use would have been used for, these sort of reasons. But in this setting, the milky, creamy consistency, quality of the stone is actually out of place against the more, okay, it's a photograph, so maybe the white balance has been changed on the photograph. You can't really tell. Maybe I'm wrong. In real life, maybe it looks different. But the snow is a real vivid white. And the rocks and the grayscale, I want to say used, that exists there, is on a much more blue grayscale. And then Jesus here is creamy, and this rock placed down next to him is more yellow where it's broken. And this rock placed here with the script on it is more yellow, but the more natural rocks are more grey. So the things being brought in, more yellow, white, the more natural, more blue, grey, white. And so there's a contrast there. It doesn't really work for me. Interesting as well that the light through the backdrop there, that creamy, yellowy tone to the light. So maybe it's a function of the light and the time of day. Maybe I'm wrong, but beautiful as it is, Jesus here doesn't do as good a job at fading into the organic nature as some of the other forms and structures that have been put up. So that's my Jesus my review. White statue of the Holy Son. It can maybe, if this next one doesn't bump it off, and if we don't have a better one, then White statue of the Holy Son is our final Jesus, simply because it's representing Korea and it looks nice. What's this? The statue of Christ blessing, Roman Catholic, Indonesia. It's on top of a hill. Have we seen this one before? I don't like the way his arms are going for a start. I just instinctively see this crocodile Jesus doing this. That's my instinct. Crocodile Jesus. Indonesia, South Asia. So it could represent, what's he doing? Everybody stand up, put your hands in the air. Everybody, I don't care, it's Jesus. Okay, we're not having that one. Jesus at the club. You can find me in the club. Everyone's drinking wine on my behalf. That's not rapping, but imagine it fitting a rap. Turning water into wine. Party all the time. I want to say something rude about ladies looking fine. That's what they say, but I'm not going to, because I don't use those misogynistic terminologies. But yeah, Jesus would have been popular at the old club, wouldn't he? Jesus on the mic. But we're not having that one. We're not having that one. So we are going to go with, unless, I'll ask your opinion, unless we've definitely put Michelangelo in, didn't we? It was the one that was made out of this one. Do you prefer this bronze Jesus who's in the Andes in Peru, right up at top of a mountain where he shouldn't be, made out of actual bronze that they dragged up there with horses and mules back in the day. Old Jesus, bronze. Or naked. Yeah, do you want to see that again? You were a little. We looked at that a little bit earlier, and he's in the list. He's in the list. He's Michelangelo, you see. Like, this is risen. That's Jesus. Actually, I didn't think when I looked at it earlier, the context of the fact that it is naked Jesus. So far, no one else has been brave enough to depict Jesus in his full human form. But, you know, Jesus would have been human. Not human. Jesus, divine. That's what you get. I'm not going to. People can read your comments. I'm not going to repeat them. This one, they've covered him up. Look, for public viewing, they've covered him up. You can just see him there with his staff, but not his rod. But this is Michelangelo, so this is proper, you know, classical art. So it's okay. It's absolutely fine to have this statue on Twitch. I'm sure it does not break the terms of service. It's a statue of Jesus constructed by Michelangelo. So I think we're fine with that, aren't we? I think we're fine. It's just a little marble. Just a little marble. Ah, me mouse. Come on, mouse. There you go. No, we're working though, aren't we? Aren't we, mouse? Working together. We've got a little thing. Come on, mouse. If your lights are on, then you've got to... No? No? Alright. I'll have another battery. There you go. Now we're working. So yeah, it's either... We got distracted there by naked Jesus. It's either... Michelangelo's Jesus, not naked. Michelangelo's Jesus. It's either this fella in the Andes... Actually, no, but my sister works as a photographer. Do you want some big face? My sister works as a photographer. So what she does at her job is she's running around, like, when I say her job, she's freelance when, like, you know, she has jobs to do. She's running around with the camera. Sometimes the flash goes off. And that costs power. And the power comes in the form of batteries. So what she does is she puts the batteries in, but if it's an important job, right, if this is the wedding photos and it's the guests and right, you need this one, and you know, need to get this one, get it in the absolutely can't have the batteries running out while I'm photographing this one. She'll take the old batteries out and she'll put in new batteries. Doesn't mean the old batteries are defunct completely, always. Sometimes they might still have some power in them, but it's important, so you've got to put the new batteries in. And then when their batteries are worn out, they go thrown away. So this is the bag of the defunct. You could lottery. You could get a good lottery out of this, and you could get a completely functioning battery. So, but we are down to the last few. And I wanted to know. Look, stop distracting. Stop distracting me from Jesus. This is. I'm veering towards this one. It's this one, or it's Jesus in Korea. In that graveyard there. It's not a graveyard. Or we could, I suppose, go with one of these other big ones. I mean, this one's in Bolivia, and it's massive. But those holes are for a viewing gallery and stairs and stuff, and I just didn't really get much vibe from it. But it is big. You like the bronze, right? The bronze is going in. It's going in. I think, yeah, we haven't had many bronzes. Bronze is cool, and that's naked Jesus again. And it's up there in the mountain, isn't it? Like, I'll tell you what's so cool about it. Like I said, they dragged it up with horses and mules, and they, like, imagine they cut it into bits and then put it back together. But imagine dragging that up the mountain and thinking to yourself, I hope Jesus, you know, I hope this earns me some God points, because what a massive faff that must have been. Yeah, the detail's good. And his face as well. He's got a much more sort of compassionate, realistic, human. Yeah. Okay, copy. So now we have 10 GSI. And I'll tell you what I'll do. Okay, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll put the Korean one on as a substitute. In case one of our Jesuses comes down sick, or indeed in case the statue itself burns down. Because it could, couldn't it? One of them got struck by lightning and burned down, didn't it? So in case the statue burns down in the intervening time between now and probably tomorrow, it'll be appropriate to do it on a Sunday, won't it? To be rating Jesus on a Sunday. We have now 10 in our shortlist. 11. It's not like me to do it over, is it? And accidentally do more work than needs to be done. We've got 11. We've got 11 in our shortlist. So we are now prepared. We are now prepared to rank. We're not prepared. I've got to rip all these pictures off and put them all into a tier list maker and name the tier list maker Giant Jesuses, and then we're prepared to do our thing. I'll write down some facts so we can go through it in facts. And you know what I was thinking? Could it be an ASMR video? Should we do it as an ASMR video? What do you think about that? Should we do that? I've got an idea that I've had, a little idea. At the moment, we can't use the ASMR dummy head. It's got 2 microphones. I can't put it into the computer without the audio interface. Using the audio interface, OBS just, it's like, oh, do you want to use that? No thanks, we'll use every microphone all at once instead. So that's an issue. However, I'm looking down here because this week, I hear that, I bought this. $10. It's not expensive. But thanks to you, your support, these chippies at the top, these diamond dippies, that's literally paid for this. And what it does instantly is it enables me to use my Switch microphone and this microphone at the same time. So, and also it's a backup in case we have a breakdown of a microphone. But I thought to myself, that's only little. It's USB. And what I could do is I could get another one of these, put those in the dummy head, not top microphone quality like I usually use, but good quality enough to start actually producing live on stream again. Put those in the dummy head, 2 USB mics, left and right. We could have a working binaural setup for stream. A bit MacGyvered, not like, lots of money spent on it, not expensive. But I don't want to spend much more money on that because I've already got that. It's just I can't get it into the computer. So this is something we're working towards in the long run. A PC and an audio interface will work. It's just the Mac and the OBS won't do it. So, but I was thinking, yeah, we could get another one of these. Probably will do, because $10 isn't a lot of money, is it? Put those in the dummy head. Put the dummy head here, and then I can whisper into it. It will be binaural. We are away essentially, and working binaurally if we fancy it. I think I've got a spare USB over there. I'd have to unplug one of my things, but we don't need the hard drive plugged in. So anyway, look, that's an option. That's something we're thinking about for next week. But I don't know if people need it to be binaural to enjoy it as ASMR. Maybe I could just whisper this as an ASMR thing. Or maybe just the fact that it's whispered is good enough for them. I don't know. But for me, I've always looked for that binaural quality, that feeling I'm really there when I'm listening to it. So I felt ASMR and binaural was like, for me, intertwined. But certainly I don't want to... There's this other problem, which is that if you do it as a whisper, then people don't want to watch the whisper video because it's a whisper video, and certain people like it and certain people don't. So you've made sure that certain people won't watch it. Whereas if you do it in a normal voice or a low tone, nice voice, then everyone can enjoy listening to that. Even if you prefer a whisper, you can still enjoy talking. So that makes it okay for everyone. But yeah, I just thought maybe we could do 2 cuts. Maybe I could do it all once, and I could do it all again in a whisper. But the second one won't have the same vibe because it won't be organic and fresh and real. I don't often do a lot of retakes for an ASMR video. I want it to have that organic reality. How do I say? sentiment, really feeling the things, really delivering the work. But yeah, so maybe this could be a whisper video though. Maybe this should be Christ. Maybe maybe we do it at the same time. Maybe I do a bit of reading and then I do some whispering and then I do some reading as well. I don't know, but it's interesting that that's bubbling under. I've still got old ASMR video script ideas that I'm halfway through. That when we get it all, this space in this room over here could be used for that. And we're on the way pushing towards it. So I just thought it was interesting that it's come up in my brain. Should we do that as an ASMR video? Maybe we shall. Maybe we should. Maybe we should. Maybe we would. Maybe we won't. Certainly we'll do it though tomorrow. We've got that all prepared now. And certainly it wasn't on our strategic list of things to do. So well done me. Driving the stream ahead in a completely random direction. Total tangent. Not we talked to the game developers. They said Monday. So fingers crossed. They're people at the Journey of the Broken Circle game development company are they said they were busy last week because they're working on what did they say? It was something like a pitch for a game, not a pitch. They use different language, but I think what they meant was they're putting together this thing, and they're going to some meetings about developing a game. So it was quite important to them last week that they were busy. But they said, how about Monday? And I didn't say, we always do Mental Health Monday. I can't do that. I said, absolutely yes. Whenever you want, we'll do it. So I'm going to try and be on Monday for 2 broadcasts. We're going to do the interview with the game developer. We've got Zoom. We're limited to half an hour on Zoom. But if I think it's going well, I could start a second Zoom and carry it on that way. And if not, it might be nice just to do a half hour and not force them to do 2 hours. So maybe they'd prefer that. I don't know. And in the future, maybe we should buy Zoom. I don't know. I'm not sure which thing I should. I feel happier just saving and being cautious with the money that's coming in. Like everything you're contributing to this is making it sustainable for the future. So it's important to me that I'm responsible with that and I don't just fritter it away. So yes, I bought buy all the Zoom. But you see, with Zoom, like you sign up to these things like for a year of Zoom, and it means you can use it a lot. But like, do I know if I'm going to use? Like, it might be that it opens up this world of interviews that we do, like a podcast every week, and we get loads of people on. I'd love to be doing that, but am I ready to do it now? Have I got the free time, and have I contacted people and arranged it? No, not really. Am I still just learning to develop stream? Yes. Would it push the stream forward? Yes. Would it push the stream forward to the value of how much it costs? Because to me, that's quite a lot of money, the Zoom. So I just don't know. So I think it's safer just to be cautious at the moment. We can do a half hour on Zoom, and then it will say, oh, you need to pay for Zoom, so what do you want to do? And you say, all right, Zoom. We'll just open up a new meeting and do another half hour that way. We can do that. So yeah, so that's coming. That's what's happening coming Monday, hopefully, based on their busyness, how busy they are. But they keep making nice noises, so I think we will eventually be getting them on for a chat about their game. And after we've done that, we will look together at a different game that has artistic merit to try and play together and to try and go down that road again. So we've got things, ideas planned. Mental Health Monday, art history. This counts as art history because it's art, isn't it? It's Jesus statues, they're art. They count. Art history. Games as art. These are the things I want to create the media content, the thing we do around. Yeah, so I think it's going well. I'm really pleased. And next week we should be taking another step forward. And so with that in mind, I decided to do a tier list of giant Jesuses for because we've also got to do the emojis, the emoticons. That's once we've done Monday's interview and Mental Health Monday, I will be like, okay, these are the things that are like what's the word? I don't want to say important, because obviously the emojis are important, the emoticons are important, but obligated. It's not. I don't want to feel obligated. It's not the right word, but these are our, obligations. These are our important things that we do every week, and then after that, I can do the more silly things that can take a bit more time. So that's how I feel about that. So that's the way I feel about that. But it's 2.5 hours. I just looked at it then. 2.5 hours. Didn't realise it's 2.5 hours. I can go on, can't I? I do go on. You have been good. Thank you for being here and helping us choose Jesus's. So serious. It's serious business. Jesus selection, pushing the stream forward, trying to set high standards and goals and live up to them. Trying to create something together here that has value in the world. It's interesting, actually, statues of Jesus. So when I was a hairdresser once, I did say to somebody once while I was cutting their hair, like, no one's ever going to build a statue out of me for cutting hair, are they? No one's ever going to, like, if I stay in this salon and cut everyone's hair for the next 20 years, at the end of it, no one's going to say, like, what a wonderful thing he did for society. They might have enjoyed their haircuts, but they were paying for them. Oh, did the camera run out of batteries? The camera ran out of batteries. So I'll just tell you this with a static face. But yeah, they weren't going to build any statues out of Scotty Hottie for cutting hair. And nor should they. Fine. Absolutely fine. But it made me realise that I wanted to do something in life that was more socially valuable than cutting their hair. Something that could make people's lives better than making them look nice. So here we are doing it. Thank you very much. I have to go now because the battery's run out of the camera, and I've been on for far longer than I can ever edit today. And you be good, my little podcast. You have been good, and I will see you tomorrow when we will do the final grading of the giant Jesuses.